back. See, that's how it works in between. I mean, I now know that gives me a 3-minute break. Not that I need it, because I love talking with you. But what I would like as well, when you start interacting with me on Facebook as well, and of course the button there on the website, ask questions, because you will govern what we're going to talk about next season. It's true on-demand radio from then on. But there you heard Bill. Donna's actually with me. She's supporting me as she does every time. And of course, other show hosts like Arthi and other friends have come on already. But like and share this. I mean, there is so much for. But we are certainly back for our last session here already. How time flies. I mean, it's unbelievable, really. But we are back there, and you're listening. If you are listening on radio, of course, you are listening to IBGR.network. And it's our radio station. It's far more than a radio station, but because we are indeed a network. I'm your host, Jan Roberts, Global Influencer. And this is episode 9 already. If you just joined us, we're talking about strategic, impactful connection in our people skills lane. You can also go to our website at IBGR.network and download our show notes. My show notes, everybody's show notes. But you can do much more there, though, because you can actually download a lot of stuff there. There is podcasts, and you can do it from our app as well. If you weren't there beginning, we have an amazing app as well where you can download all this stuff. You can find out more about. There is a whole all the hosts are on there as well. You can learn more about them, to look at their bios. The summit is on there as well. You can download videos. There is a lot of stuff there for you, the entrepreneur, the budding entrepreneur, the seasoned entrepreneur. There is something for everybody there. And that's why I say like and share this. Like and share the Facebook. You can go to YouTube as well. We've got an IBGR.YouTube channel where this will be posted later on as well. I haven't been able to do it together yet, but I thought I'll try somewhere, and we'll begin somewhere. And here we are. So, in this last session, I just want to give you some essential tools for building strategic relationships, because it's good that we need them, but how do you build those things? So I love this with Malcolm Gladwell. When I write quotes down. I'm a quoteaholic. My friend and mentor Les Brown, if you know them, I mean, he knows quotes. So does his son John Leslie, but they sometimes have a quote off where they actually see who can talk into more quotes. But I love that he's my mentor as well, and because I'm also a speaker. But quotes are wonderful, and as long as you can speak into them. But here there was one that fitted, and it's by Malcolm Gladwell, and it's mentioned in The Tipping Point, a great book, by the way. Acquaintances represent a source of social power, and the more acquaintances you have, the more powerful you are. Yeah, strategic connections, networking, all that kind of stuff. And as I said already, next week it's going to be about networking. And another one here is leaders who are good networkers are the connectors. They master that social, as Mark Granovetter calls, the weak tie. A friendly yet casual social connection. I like it. You can just depict it, a weak tie, so it's a friendly kind of casual thing. But I mean, that's what Robin Gerber said in Leadership, the Eleanor Roosevelt way. So if you read those, or now listen to those quotes carefully, you will find a clue to one of the reasons that women are considered by male bosses as underperforming men in the area of having strategic networks and using them effectively. Before you women get on your high horse, hold on a minute. The male model for networking is acquaintances and weak ties. The female model is, well, actually for many women in leadership as well, it's not at all natural to think about networks, but women think more about friendships. That's why women are so good at it. So before you jumped on your high horse earlier, I think it is actually women are so much better at it. So now you men, you can go and cry in a bush now, as my partner Arthur always says. Go and cry in a bush, I don't care. But women are so much better at it. It's much more a natural instinct. Men are, and that doesn't mean that women are not business oriented, but they use the friendly approach much more, and it's much more effective. People like to do business with those they know, like, and trust. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Do these things come true now with especially women? So yes. So somebody called Gail Evans wrote the book She Wins, You Win. And she touches on that when she says, forget networking. No, you can't forget that because I'm talking about it next week. What we really need to be doing is what she calls it webbing, which is what's quite interesting, and it's amazing. And in my development, I find this kind of thing. I said that's useful. Having a great evening with a friend whom you don't see again until the next time you paths cross is just as viable a relationship. Such relationships must become the very fabric of our, she calls it, nexistence. I like that. In other words, she's telling us that it's okay to have acquaintances and weak ties with other women for the purpose of business success. But we'll be more comfortable if we call it webbing, not networking. Well, it's in the name. If you're happy webbing, if you're happy just building relationships, or as I said, friendships, I mean, that's eventually, we need to stay professional, but we can build that kind of real connective, strategic, impactful relationship, that connection that will last. And I say Arthur is a master at it. So there is 6 essentials for this, and I will talk briefly into that. And one of them is, of course, whatever you call it, many women in leadership positions have to reframe the inner game, they said. But I mean, men have to do exactly the same. But this was written by a woman for women, so I just rephrased that. But I found some things that she talked into, and I thought I'll write it up, and because these are really some of the kind of essential tools for building those strategic, impactful relationships. So you need to have a goal, of course. You can have all the acquaintances or friends in the world. You can have 5,000 Facebook friends and take joy in this relationship, but you can't use them strategically if you don't have a goal. So what do you want to win in life? What goals do you hold clearly in your mind and close to your heart? When you can answer these questions, you're ready to think about strategic networking. I hope that makes sense. So you need to have a goal and reframe your inner game. That's very important, because it means changing any negative thoughts you have about strategic networking. People think it's a chore. No, it's yes, it's a necessity, but make it fun, make it positive, because it helps you, it helps them, it helps the world out there you're trying to serve with your products, your services, and your courses. So it is simple. If you think networking is bad, you won't be good at it. And I'll talk a little bit into that much more into it next week. But if you think about interactions in which there is an opportunity to give and to get, you'll have the chance of being good at it. If you help enough other people, you get what you want. That whole story I mentioned earlier on, it's about giving. It's not always about receiving. You will receive when you give, but it's that kind of, listen to people, give of your time, listen intently to people, not just with a point of trying to give them a business card or whatever, but that comes into the network. But master the give and think, and you need to master that give, think, and then link. Now that's what I was just saying. When talking with someone, you mentioned a problem she's dealing with. An issue is not just say you've got a solution for it, but listen to them. Who do I know that can help you with this? Eventually you can give some solutions, even if it's not yourself. But when you help people with solutions in totally different fields, they might get better connection because they start to like you and they start to trust you. So that's where you can create a connection as well. Master the give and explicit reciprocity. I said that just without blinking. But when you've gone out of your way to help someone in your network and you get thanked, don't say it was nothing or any version of this in your head. Instead, say something like, I'm sure you do the same for me sometime. Set up a future opportunity for the other person to show gratitude to you by reciprocating in some way at some point in the future. See, if you do good, good will come back. But have it in your mind as well, because what you think about, you bring about. Again, another subject for a whole hour and then some. Mastering the get. So the courageous ask as well. It's sales 101. So the courageous ask is a straightforward request made from a position of strength and competence, not a position of weakness and neediness. So many people forget to ask. See, it's direct and made without apology and overt. It's easiest to say yes to a courageous ask if there is or has been a win for the other person. So that's why you need to give first. The win may be in the near term, in the past, or possibly in the future. But don't do something for them and straight away say, oh, by the way, because was that really the ulterior motive? So you need to master these kind of things. And the sixth one is mastering the get, is nurture your network. We'll talk much more into that next week. You have to develop a system that works for you for keeping track of and keeping in touch with the people in your strategic network. Now, if you're not natural strategic networking, those 6 tools and techniques will at least help you make your network for you. Your network for you. Now, there's something that we all have but don't always pay attention to. I want to finish with that just now because we're near the end of our time again. Have you ever had it happen that you made a decision which ultimately was a total mistake? So sometimes when we meet people, it just doesn't feel right. No idea why not, but it just doesn't feel right. That is your intuition kicking in. Now, we would be very wise to seriously consider that the next time it sends us a subtle reminder, we might just have to move on and forget about any consideration of a possible and plausible, impactful connection. We need to sometimes move on, but intuition is also powerful and we sometimes need to listen to it better. I have learned by some of the mistakes, and somebody told me something and I wouldn't listen. We all sometimes have to learn by our mistakes. But this is all I've got about the strategic, impactful connections. I hope you learned something, you got something out of it. Like and share it. But what's coming up next? We have more exciting shows coming up after this. Now, they're all not on Facebook yet, but they're coming. So, more exciting shows coming up from Nigeria, South Africa, Lebanon. It's an international community of amazing experts. So, if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. But you have now been listening to me, Jan Robberts. I'm your show host, and I look forward to be with you on Facebook as well as on the radio and ibgr.network, same time, same place next week. And I'll be talking about networking next week. So remember, you are amazing. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.